toileting outdoors is difficult.
I'm 110% like all in kind of gal.
I've never taken a hat-trick in any form of cricket ever.
Everything hurts.
Well, I've had my hands full of poo.
Am I really old?
Hello and welcome to Under the Lid, the pro cricket show with me, Jack Brooks.
And me, Katherine Sciver-Brunt.
And as always, this podcast is brought to you in partnership with The Cricketer and the PCA. Now, the guest this week, we are delighted to say, is young-ish all-rounder, Katie George. Hopefully she'll be able to talk to us through a wide range of topics, covering her international debut as a teenager, her resurgence and hitting back with the Central Sparks, and preparing for life outside of cricket too. Now, hello, Brunty.
Hello.
How are you?
That reminds me of Labyrinth. Classic 80s film. That little worm on the wall where he goes, hello.
I feel like a little worm in a minute.
You look a little bit like that. No, I'm
coming
just
to you
joking.
from another hotel room.
Another one. Yeah, well, another hotel room must mean a bit more cricket for you.
A bit more coaching, mate. Yeah, I'm in Essex this week for a 4-day game in the second team with Surrey, coaching Surrey 2s down in Essex against a combined Essex and Kent side, actually, 6 from each. And we got rolled out for 90 and 22 overs today, first innings, so it might not be down here for 4 days.
Nice.
We had a great game up in York last week against Yorkshire, which finished on Friday, so I had a long week up there. Played club cricket on Saturday, which the mighty Banbury, we won a game. We've been in really good form lately. From battling relegation, we're now comfortably getting up into mid-table. So with one game to go, I haven't got the stress of worry about relegation.
Yeah, you need to finish somewhere respectfully. Mid-table's not so bad.
Yeah, I'll take that after the start we had. I think we won 1 out the first 9, but we've managed to pick up 3 in the last 5, I think. So yeah, hopefully I'll be able to finish playing cricket for good after this weekend and just think about family life and coaching.
Yeah, that's it. You're going to be busy, having your hands very, very full.
Very, very full next summer. Of all sorts. It'll be everything imaginable, I imagine. How about you? What have you been up to? You had a busy time of it lately? How many cricket grounds have you been to?
Well, I've had my hands full of poo, and we as well with the puppy. It's hard work. I almost forgot how hard it was bringing Bella up. Bonnie is just really igniting that memory. It's just like mastering the toileting outdoors is difficult. And last night she ate her own poo. So
yeah, why do dogs do that?
That was a new one. Sometimes boredom, sometimes hunger. But like, how am I supposed to entertain her in the night? You know what I mean? I need to sleep, so difficult one. I just hope she doesn't do it all the time. Can you imagine?
I don't envy you. I think bring up a puppy is arguably harder than a baby in a way. Babies don't eat their own poo.
It's a bit more rogue, but at least the puppy stuff, after 6 months, he's sort of done.
Right, okay.
You could pretty much just ignore them from then on if you wanted to.
Oh, no, you can't do that.
Whereas children, you got to have eyes in the back of your head, always. As my mum used to say. Anyway, shall we get on to our guest and stop talking about poo?
Yeah, we both know a bit about her. I guess you may have actually played with her. I coached her this winter with my brief foray into the Central Sparks for a few months. So I got to know her and see her up close coming back from injury. But I guess you probably know her much better than I do.
Yeah, she had a fantastic start to her career, to be fair. International debut at 18. But she was very bloody unfortunate. Suffer some crap injuries. Ones back stress fractures are just no good, and they seem to be rife at the minute, actually, stress fractures, especially in Yorkshire. So, yeah, she's been out of cricket for a while. Getting stressed, I imagine, because rehab is never the one for anyone. But she's been featuring, since she's been back, she's been featuring for Central Sparks quite regularly now, and pretty much their go-to seamer. So, yeah, things are looking up.
Yeah, also get to speak to her about the PCA's Futures Week, which I believe you have attended in the past, and I've sort of dipped in a little bit. which is a really massive, important initiative that the PCA put on for players when they're looking to transition out of the game. At least give them an idea of things they can look to be interested in or get involved in, how easy or how difficult it is to go to certain avenues and qualifications, etc., like that. Basically preparing you for real life away from messing about on a cricket field. So it'd be good to hear her views on that and maybe talk to you about that. Shall we get under the lid with Katie George?
Hello. Oh, we love animals on this show.
Yeah, just the cats have managed to open the door to the kitchen, which has just caused a moment of havoc.
Who is that? What's the name?
That's Mocha. So we got Mocha and Sue, 2 cats. They're about 6 months now. So their training's going just as well as Bonnie's by the sounds of it.
It's a nightmare, isn't it, mate? I can't even cope. I think I'm gonna have to come down like midnight, like middle of the night, like maybe 4 a.m. and just like try and intercept the poo before it gets eaten.
It's rough.
It is rough, isn't it? I thought picking it up was bad, but now, like, there's just no evidence of it, and I'm like, what have you done?
What a life!
Anyway,
What a life! What a rock star! Oh, I was just gonna say hi, Katie. I haven't seen you for a few months since I was on that. Well, I was involved at Edgbaston with the Sparks for a few months, and you were coming back from injury and had done a lot of low level bowling and having a good slog. We had some good chats. How are you doing? How's your summer been?
It's been going well, yeah. It feels a very long time ago since I saw you in the winter. Been happy with how things are going. Body's feeling good. Obviously, we're into the back end of our season now. We've got 2 games left. We've got Wednesday and Friday, and then yeah, that's it. Gone pretty well. Always want to do more, but happy with how I'm travelling.
Wicket, and any particular highlights or personal moments for you this summer that you look back on fondly, or is it just glad to be back playing again? And the Sparks obviously went all right in the Charlotte Edwards, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's definitely things sort of team wise and personally. I think, personally, even over the last 2 seasons, I think I've missed 2 games maybe, and that's pretty good. It means that I can actually, try and impact games of cricket, which has been something that I've always wanted to do and probably brings out the best of me. And I think, I'm pretty pleased with how I've gone. I think, especially as an all-rounder, I've tried to, probably the small bonus of injuries is that you can focus a little bit on the batting side, especially with stress fractures. There's a lot of time where you're not allowed to bowl, or you're not allowed to bowl much. So there's no excuse really to not pick up a bat, which has hopefully paid off. I feel like I've got into a quite nice settled role with the Sparks. Sort of either first change, opening the bowling, and sort of that middle order role, with the bat being quite flexible and fluid in that order. So yeah, happy with that personally. I think obviously with the team wise, the T20s were the highlight. We got to the semi final and then lost out to the Blaze, who went on and won it. So you think that game probably could have gone either way. We're probably a couple short of the bat. Got ourselves back into it with the ball, and then probably got ourselves back out of it again with the ball. So one of those things. And then, 50 overs have been a real mixed bag. They've been quite a challenge to start the season. We started off really well and then kind of was pretty poor, to be honest. And then again, come back from the 100, and we've started off with 2 bonus point wins. So we've been, I think it probably shows where our side's at. We've got a little bit of experience, but quite a lot of youth, and then a few people in between. So you get that little bit of inconsistency, but also that really exciting bit where people go and win games on their own. So yeah, a little bit of a mixed bag.
Yeah, well, tale of two halves to the season, isn't that? Can you give us a little bit of insight to our listeners, mainly about the injury you had and how long you'd had out of the game, and how that affected you mentally, I guess, not as much as physically?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, I remember debut at 18, started pretty well, and then got a stress fracture at the back end of that year. And then probably since then, I've had back-to-back ones. I've had probably 6 in total, I think. Yeah, 6. So hard to keep count, they kind of merge. But if anyone doesn't know, that's sort of 7-8 month rehab. So I'm 25 now, so that takes up quite a bit of your career, I think. And it's also, the thing for me is, like, everyone I used to get, the only thing I really struggled with was I was almost jealous, because while I was rehabbing and learning how to run in a straight line again, people were getting better at their game, and it's almost like something you forget, sort of like from the outside, is all that time that you can put into your game to improve, to get better, to learn more about yourself as a person and as a player. You kind of miss out on some of that stuff, and you learn things very quickly, and you also learn some things a little bit slower. So I think sort of the resilience side of things, I've probably got that pretty much nailed down. But I think in terms of sort of like skills wise, I feel like I've always had quite a few strings to my bow, and kind of working out when to use those things, and kind of when to put away, and sort of that side of the stuff. You kind of only learn those things either by practicing sort of a load, or by playing. And I didn't do too much of both for a little while, so had to kind of learn my feet a little bit. And it felt that even now it feels like I'm 25, but I'm actually, my ceiling's still quite high and quite untapped, which is really exciting for me. I feel like I've got maybe a 21-year-old's body, maybe even a 20-year-old, in terms of like bowling age and kind of all that stuff. So I feel like I've got a long time in front of me, which is exciting, because I've got that little bit of experience, that I can hopefully bring into the team. But also personally, it means that I can really see how far I can get to.
No, well, you used the word resilience there, and I guess God knows how deep you've had to dig the last 7 years to get through all of that. But also off the back of that, and working hard to get back in, taking career best list day figures of 5 for 50 this summer. I know it was against Western Storm, and another team that I previously worked with. We'll get to the bit about you coming up against your partner Issy as well. But how was it for you to put a performance like that in and come away with a career best this summer after all the work you put in?
Yeah, I think I don't think it's difficult to kind of. I think there's a lot of stuff that you're proud of before those fifers. Like, they're obviously everything that gets the highlights, and you talk about those, but it's kind of like all the work that I've done previously that I was really happy with, and that was almost kind of like an outcome, a bonus kind of thing. Yeah, I think sort of all the work that I've done, I've had to kind of change. I haven't opened the bowling that much, but kind of the first time, I think this year, maybe I might have opened the bowling once before this year. So it was, and it's something I didn't do last year because our bowlers were bowling so well that I kind of went into that sort of first change role. So I think, having the new ball again, and sort of working out, cause I tend to go sort of wobble balls, bouncers, slur balls, first change, whereas I have got the ability to swing a new ball. So having that opportunity to do that again was a good challenge, but also, like, I probably didn't have that much confidence with a new ball because I just hadn't done it. So yeah, there was a lot of things going on, but I think to actually get that kind of reward for it was really nice. And it was actually, I pretty much picked up all my wickets at the back end, bowling bouncers and slow balls. So it's one of those things, but I was really happy with kind of how I went with the newer ball, and sort of then it was pleasing to see that sort of those skills at the back end sort of paid off. But yeah, I think I've sort of shown throughout the year kind of that ability to fit into sort of and be useful at all aspects of the game, whether that's with the new ball, first change, coming in at the death. And that's been something that I've been really kind of keen to be able to do, because I think if I can be involved in sort of all those periods of the game, then that makes me sort of pretty useful to a team. And I love being involved in the game. So anything that I can do that gets me involved and gets me in the thick of it, I'm there. So yeah, and I've done quite well against the Storm as well. So it's always nice to pick up a few. I got a fourfer in the T20 stuff as well. So
Yeah, fantastic. And obviously, I briefly alluded to the fact that now Katherine will have something to say on this as well, because she's in a similar, or has been in a similar position. You now you and Issy are in a relationship, and you played together at the Sparks. But obviously, Issy went to the Storm on loan. Now, Brunty has talked before about playing with and against Nat before, and she absolutely hated playing against her. What was it like? Was it strange? Because obviously I've seen you net against each other and you're both very competitive, but in the game itself, especially when you got her out, was there any words later, or was it just like silence?
I was quite looking forward to it. I've actually, like, we've played against each other a few times over the years, and I feel like I've got a number a little bit, which she'll probably hate me saying, but I reckon I've got her out a few times. So yes, no, I do look forward to. I know that I can either bounce her or Yorker and feel in a pretty good place. But yeah, I mean, I bounced her from ball one. I think a few of the girls were asking if we'd fallen out, but it was just a game plan. But yeah, it's a little bit weird. I think obviously there was a little bit of stuff going on, and sort of it was. I think it's like off the pitch is a little bit hard, because I mean we've just got a house and kind of got 2 cats to look after, and kind of splitting and going into different directions of the country wasn't really part of the plan. But I mean, everyone's got their challenges, so I think that was probably the hardest stuff. The cricket bit was the easy bit. So yeah, her driving up and down the M5 was probably the more difficult bit. But yeah, I think she doesn't like it as much. I quite enjoy a little bit of banter. So
There's always somebody that hates it and somebody that doesn't really mind.
yeah.
So yeah,
We know which one you are, Bronte.
yeah, well, you know exactly who I am. Although she didn't like it when it brought out the very worst in me. Worst/best. It like
Yeah, there's a fine line, isn't there? There's a fine line.
It's an absolute fine line. Anyway, mate, it's been really great to see you back playing. Sort of a good year, but then the last couple of years, and watching you transition from just being a battlefielder, sometimes just a bloody fielder, because that's how bad you were in the, with your injuries and setbacks and things, to actually playing a full part and doing what us all-rounders love to do, which is just be involved all the time in a game. So that must have been, well, bloody hard and sometimes boring and actually really frustrating, because you just like give me the ball or whatever, thinking you must think like that. But how's your body felt being back now, like regularly bowling, and almost trusting yourself to run in a little bit harder each month that passes by? Has that been tough? Has it felt all right?
Personally, I feel good at the moment. I think you touched on it just then a little bit, like that trust in your body. It's an easy thing to say, and kind of some people can just throw like, "What do you mean?" Like, but actually having that confidence to bang your body into the ground time after time, with 7 stress fractures is, not the easiest thing. And I'm also someone that's had to learn to scale down a little bit. I'm 110% like all in kind of gal, and unfortunately that can't be me all the time. So probably learning that bit has been quite difficult. I've managed a little bit, even sort of during games, like especially the 50 over stuff at the start of the year. We were playing like 3 games a week, and like that's quite a lot of load. And for someone with my injury record is slightly testing. So I mean, I can't thank the sort of physio at Sparks. We have quite a close relationship.
Must be
and
best
work
mates
very well.
now.
We know each other well. I buy her a lot of coffees and she keeps me on the park. So it's a pretty good relationship, if you ask me. But yeah, so just trying to learn when to like sort of go all out, and sort of just not. I think in terms of trying to take wickets and all of that, like I'm all in. But just knowing that I don't need to try and bowl 75 miles an hour every week. And there's been times in games where I've recognised when to try and hit those speeds and when not to. And that's been probably a little bit purposeful. I don't know a couple of people have asked me why they've fluctuated a little bit, and that's probably the honest truth, is that I've got to a place where I can rely on my skills a little bit, and then there's times where I can try and sort of blow people away. I think that's probably really helped me. Just haven't been a little bit more sensible, but still being really effective. Hopefully being really effective. So that's probably something I've learned from this year, from last year, because last year, I mean, we worked out by sort of the end of June last year, I'd bowled more since the start of the season to June than I had in 4 years, which is just bonkers. And then obviously from June, your season hasn't really started yet, has it? So like from June to September last year, I was, like sort of the 100 you want to peak for. Like that's our big domestic franchise competition. And I was literally, I arrived there and I was like, everything hurts.
Yeah, you've got. I mean, that's the beauty of getting older. Like you learn your limits and or what's going to get you through the next 5 years. So how do I get to 30 now? So, and I've had to be so tactical with the back surgeries that it was like, first of all, I just love cricket. I'm just going to run in all day. Wee-ho, this is great. To then, um, oh, bowling really fast at international level. Sometimes you get panned. Um, so better just be a bit more skillful. And then you go to, oh, bowling fast has just put me in hospital. So then you get the fear. And then you're like, right, how do I get rid of the fear, be more skillful, um, but probably tone down my pace a bit um, to get more accuracy. And it's like you just keep going like this after each little setback. And like, yeah, with you, for me, I lost a few miles an hour, like maybe 3 miles an hour, but gained more accuracy in another ball. So it was like you lose that fun bit, but you gain some more wickets and a bit more longevity. So it's like there's so many things you have to come across, and a lot of the time it's on your own. You're on your own with it. Coaches are great, but they got to look after 15 people, and like you said, these are the things that you learn when you do, not when you're in the gym doing rehab. So it's a tough one, mate. But I love that you're learning and that you've had all this time to work on all these variations because that'll stand you in good stead for the long term because we know where cricket's going. Yeah, but if you can get the confidence and trust back in the body to start swinging that ball again, mate, that's why you were in the England team and what the Katie George we saw when she first popped on the scene. So I can't wait for you to sort of find that version of yourself again and sort of go with it. It's great. Are
Yeah,
you
I definitely, there's like a happy medium.
are you staying at the Sparks?
I am. I'll be there next year. Yeah,
Great. I think the future's bright there too. Is it
yeah.
your
Well, we've had obviously head coach announced
new
with
head
Ali
coach?
Maiden, who
Yeah,
obviously we worked with
yeah.
a way
That's what
back.
I'm saying. That's why I'm saying you'll do well there, mate. You'll be fine.
So, yeah, so no, I'm feeling pretty positive for the future. I think sort of these 2 years I've learned a lot, and actually that sort of hands-on experience. It's the first time I've done 2 seasons. So I mean, I had like a little bit of a niggle through the winter that I had to work through, but to come through, I think last summer and sort of still be pretty much standing, I was very happy with, and that was the goal. Whereas this year it was like, what can I actually achieve? What can I do? And how much of a player can I improve as a batter, as a bowler, as a person? I'm getting into more of the senior side of the team. So it's how can I help them? How can I maybe help them not make the same mistakes, or make good choices, whatever it is. And I think that's something that I've actually quite enjoyed, sort of that side of things as well. But I mean, once I cross that white line, you can't change me. So that's always nice, and to be able to do that week in week out is, for probably several times I've thought that may not be the case. So I still have that enthusiasm, I think, to each time I run out there.
Definitely, mate. Enjoy it while you can.
Now, taking it back to when you were a nipper as an 18-year-old, you made your England debut. I guess Brunty was there. I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Was Brunty involved? So, what was it like to play with this bloody legend? And secondly, what was it like to make your England debut in India? I know it's against Australia, but actually playing out in India as well.
Yeah, it was a tri-series with Australia and India. I mean, we didn't play as much like cricket kind of back then. It was like the county stuff. So I'd not really come across Bronte that much. She was more like a legend kind of vibe. And I just, she was someone that I was kind of like, I'd watched on TV, I'd seen a couple of times live. And you talk about, I think, the impact of Jimmy Anderson on like the men's side of things. But I mean, Bronte's going to get shy, but like she has the same impact, and like that's, I think, something you downplay, but someone grown up, like,
Were you scared?
like,
Were you scared of her?
nah, I wasn't. I
She's
think
not the
we've
type.
laughed
She's not that type of person.
of our first conversation. There was no backing down. A little bit of cheekiness involved. So yeah, no, and share the field with her was phenomenal. You can't get much better people around you. And obviously, I had Anya as well, and two different types of characters. So having them both, I think, the value of that was it's quite hard to put into words, and I think I was very undercooked. Like the amount of cricket I'd played, I'd gone from playing like county. We'd only been Division 1 with Hampshire for 1 year. I'd played 2 years of Super League, Kia Super League, and then suddenly I was, shaping up and going. I'm in India and I'm about to bowl it at Healy and Mandela. And I'm like, I can do this. This is cool. So it all happened really fast, and I've said before that I'm incredibly grateful to Robbo and to the likes of Bronte that sort of looked after me and helped me through that, because I don't think there was any preparation. Even the sort of when you go to India, you get a lot of attention, don't you? And that I was completely naive to it. I had absolutely no idea what I was signing up for. So
you can't warn you either. You just got
I don't know what you would have
be
said.
there. No, there's nothing. It's got to be there.
It wouldn't be, I look at that as some of like the fondest memories of my cricket career, because, it's something that no one can take away from you. And to do it in a foreign country, and to, actually come away from it and think, you know what, I reckon I could stay around here. Because, Robbo told me I was just going to kind of rock up and, be around the team and work on my bowling and stuff. And kind of basically I was like, I'm going to India. It's not a holiday, but it's kind of like a holiday. Like, that's pretty sound. And then I wasn't even meant to play any of the warm up games, and then I got a tap on the shoulder that the team had changed, and that I was playing in the morning, and I forgot my match trousers. I was carnage. So it's brilliant, absolutely standard. So yeah, and then I came back from that series thinking that I'd go back to Hampshire and I don't know whatever I was meant to be doing, college, uni. I think I was meant to be going to uni, and I binned that off because cricket was obviously going well. And then obviously got to play in England, and my parents couldn't get to India, so being able to sort of play those few games back in England, we had another try series against South Africa and stuff, and New Zealand. So I actually made my 50 over debut when the football was on, and I just remember like us celebrating in the middle when we scored, and my dad was in one of the bars, probably having a few too many. So good memories.
That's fantastic. Do you remember much about your debut game? Do you remember your first wicket, your first run?
I remember getting out. Yeah, I faced two balls. I've defended the first one, went to sweep the second, and I'm not much of a sweeper. I was far too nervous and went to sweep because I was like, India sweeping's pretty good. I'm not much used to these conditions, so if in doubt, sweep. Missed it, out. There we are. I got a run out before I got a wicket. Moons defended one sort of into my run up and set off to run, and
Beth Mooney, everybody.
Mixed memories, and very mixed memories. And apparently, you took a hat trick against India A before that tournament.
Yeah. So that, I think that's what got me the nod, because I think I was very close to the starting 11 before then. Yeah, I think I run up and bowl and not think too much about it, and it hasn't changed too much from then to
I've
now.
never taken a hat trick in any form of cricket ever, even as a kid.
Is that why you're still playing club cricket?
I yip up. I just yip up. Every time I've had a 2 and 2, I've just bowled filth or just bowled a good ball that they'd not hit.
I've taken a few. I've only taken a couple.
I've never had 100. I've been in the 90s a few times, and every
Nervous
time.
90s.
No, not even. Every time I've tried to hit 6.
That doesn't surprise me.
But it didn't cost the team. Like, I wasn't, you know what I mean? And actually, one of them was selfless. I could have just, got 2. But I was just trying to get the team as many runs as I could with the last 2 balls, so I just tried.
Oh, of course you were. Team
Caught on the
first.
boundary,
Yeah,
guys. Don't worry.
yeah.
The Yorkshire.
Brunty, what was it like touring, playing with KG here?
Well, we didn't have much, did we? But what we did have, I mean, when she came on, like I'd heard that whole like, oh, we'll just all expenses paid holiday for Kate. Let's get her over, ball in the nets, get her some experience. And I was like, jammy, like she gets. This is nice. This is the life. Because I had the same sort of intro as you. I'd just come off playing like I'd only just, I'm not even sure, yeah, just got in the Yorkshire first team. Because the Yorkshire first team when I was 19 was unreal. We had like 9 England players in it and they'd won 11 titles in a row. It was just, I couldn't get in and I was good enough. But politics, whatever, wait your turn,
Oh,
young'un.
yeah.
Yeah, wait your turn. Anyway, so like it was just like surprise. Here's international cricket for me too. So, what that was when you did it. I was like, oh, this. I could see a bit of myself in you, especially the way you bowled. I know you're left-handed, but I could see a lot of me in you. Although you are, I mean, I class myself as a very good fielder, but you are exceptional fielder, very athletic, and I just loved everything I saw because up to that point, before you made your debut, I was like, where is everyone? Who's taking my spot? Who's going to push me off my pedestal? And I was sick of feeling quite comfortable because there were no seamers coming along. And I just felt like what the annoying bit for me was it didn't push me to be better for a long time. I quite happily sat on my laurels and stayed as I was for years and years. But that pushed me to be better and get fitter, stronger, bowl better, get another delivery. But I needed something like that, but I loved what I saw in you, and I just wanted it to stay. And that spell was at Bristol. It was a rapid spell, and you like your movement of the ball, your pace, like you're just like fearlessness. It's you can't. That comes in the beginning, and it rarely stays. And I loved that. It was just like watching, if I could have watched myself debut my first series, it was like watching that. It was pretty cool actually for me. Never shared that with you, but
High praise.
um,
High praise, Kate.
no, it was. It was. I was absolutely. I was devastated for you, mate. When all that started happening, I was just like, me, like England's waited so long for this. But yeah, good things come to those who wait. And you're only 25. You got another 12 years if you go as long as I did. Actually, 13.
Hopefully, we'll be talking in 8 years' time about how someone gave me a little kick up the bottom to keep on moving.
Oh, Christ. Anyway, talking about international, do you still have hopes to play
Oh,
international cricket?
100%. I think in those 6 a.m. gym sessions, you're not doing it to play regional cricket, in all due respect to regional cricket.
There is a bit of coin out there now, so
Nah,
people could do it
nah.
for the lifestyle, but no.
Yeah,
International.
I want to. The thing that's, from when I've been a kid is I want to play with the best, and I want to challenge myself against the best, and I want to really know how good I am. I think that's the frustrating thing with the injuries is that, like, I want to know if I am good enough, and I feel that, if I made that progress when I was 18, like, I'm a better player now, and it's actually how far can I go with that? And I want to. It's simple. I want to play with the best, and I want to play against the best, and I want to have those experiences. I want to win trophies. I want to play in an Ashes. Like, the thing I used to watch Test cricket. That was my thing. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I love T20 cricket, but like,
Nothing like an Ashes series.
it's it's what made me choose cricket over football. It was the thing that just really got me at the edge of my seat. And you know, I think there'll be questions about whether my body can do it, and I had to tell them to, do one. And I think,
Well, I feel like
I
you've
think
already crossed that line of
exactly. I think
what you
I'm
can and
I'm
can't
doing
do.
that,
Yeah.
and I think, skill wise, swinging a ball. If I can move a white ball as much as I do, then a red ball is going to be pretty fun.
Especially if they keep the dukes, mate. I'm gutted I never got to bowl with one.
Like, you'd have been absolutely lethal. Your numbers would have doubled. Jeez.
So the England A team, are you devastated you didn't get in that against Ireland?
I am, yeah. I think you could probably sit here and go, oh, like it's all right, but like I am gutted. I think I did a lot of sort of when I look at the start of the year and you look at the fixtures and you kind of see what's going on and what's around. Like, you're like, what do you think's kind of achievable and what's out of reach? And the big thing was to try and have a good 100 because I felt that regional cricket I was tracking really well, whereas the 100, I've not been able to bowl in most of them. But this year felt like a really good opportunity for me.
Well,
And
funny
obviously,
you
like,
should say that. Nat loved having you in the 100, by the way, and with that, like Bryony for us last year, she bowled a lot. She took a lot of wickets. She didn't bowl one over this year. That just goes to show how many we've got. Like 7, 8 bowlers. Tough gig, mate. But I think you're good there. You got a good bat there, didn't you?
yeah, but I think even like on that, because I wasn't bowling, I put so much pressure on my batting because I was like, if I'm not bowling, then I need to show that I can bat, kind of thing. And I'm always someone that's when I'm relaxed and quite chilled, that's when I play my best cricket and kind of putting that's a whole other conversation. But yeah, so I wanted to have a good 100, and then the island stuff. I think it's always slightly difficult because you'll have people dropping down from the first team, and obviously the World Cup was meant to be in Bangladesh. That there's not going to be that many seamers going, and I think England made it quite clear quite early on that they were going to go quite spin heavy. So I knew that kind of it was going to be quite a few people for those kind of spots for the Ireland series. So I knew it wasn't going to be a breeze, and I think you try and I got asked the other day, was it because I'm 25 and they want to look at younger people? And I was like, well, the younger people have bowled
What?
pretty too. And I was like, I don't think the age is
25
something.
is very young, mate. I'm 40
Honestly,
next year.
I came home and I was like, I just sat there and I made a cup of tea and I forgot to drink it because I was like, am I really old?
No,
I
stop that.
was
Everybody
like,
stop that. If we
"Oh,
start talking about 25 being
yeah,
old, me and Jack are screwed.
well, yeah." So
Ancient. We're ancient. You're a baby.
yeah, but I am gutted. I don't, I don't think it's the end. They only picked a 13-person squad for the T20 stuff, and I think I take a lot from what I've done regionally. I think I've had a pretty good year with that, and I don't think I'm far away. I've not had conversations or anything like that, but I think I'm on the right path. And I think, yeah, I am only 25 and I feel pretty fresh, and I'm pretty excited to sort of tackle this winter and see what happens.
Yeah, a lot can happen in a short space of time. I think it's quite important to have a long-term goal of, saying, playing for England or to play until you're 30, whatever. But if you've got loads of little ones on the way, you can have a little checklist and you can have these little positive little kick up the arses that can keep you go, right, that's great. What's the next little one? I've got no doubt, having seen you up and seen you train, how you talk about the game, you approach the game, your fitness, you're a three-dimensional cricketer. Like England should be crying out for someone around you or to compete with the likes of Danny Gibson and whoever else is around that setup at the minute. And you just never know, do you? It only takes an unbelievable bit of form from you to force your way in, or a bit of unfortunate injury or something from someone else, and suddenly you're back in it without really realizing as well. But I wish you luck with that. Just going off the playing topic now, this is obviously in conjunction with the PCA, this podcast. Now, you've attended the PCA Futures Conference, which I'm not sure how many of our listeners will know much about it. I think Brunty's been into it before. Now, we've talked about your age. You're obviously not a baby, but you're not ancient. You are sort of coming to your prime at 25. Now, what made you want to attend the Futures Conference? What can you tell us about it? And have you got any sort of plans or ideas in place going forward?
Probably the honest, quite ironically, the thing that got me to go was I kept hearing about how it was kind of people at the end of their career or kind of afterwards that went, and I was like, well, why would you wait? Because then suddenly you've wasted like however many years. It could be 2, it could be 5, it could be anything to like kind of get an idea. And even if I don't know, if you've not got a massive idea of what you want to do, surely that's going to put you in better stead to kind of then go and maybe see something or talk to someone that sparks something. I don't know. That's what made me go, because I was like, otherwise I don't know, if there's something that's got so many resources like free to you, and all you have to do is go and sit there and have some tea, and they give you free food. I was like, well, what have I got to lose? And I think it was invaluable. I think I didn't know what to expect that much, really. I think I kind of went in there very kind of, cause I've got a few ideas of what I want to do and stuff like that, but cricket's always been like super focus. But I do a little bit of like property stuff. I've got a house that I rent out, like things like that. So it was just kind of trying to work out sort of the next steps and kind of stuff like that. And I mean, money's messed up at the moment, isn't it, with inflation and kind of like all that stuff. Like, so it was kind of, there's people that are qualified to talk about these things. So I'd rather than watching random YouTube clips from someone that's, I don't know, maybe got less qualifications, I should probably go and see what they've got to say. And even the other people that I spoke to that maybe I definitely wouldn't speak to in sort of like day-to-day life, just having those conversations and hearing about those experiences, and kind of if it's like other players or ex-players, there's a couple of coaching staff members from teams, like hearing them, it was just a really good couple of days. I mean, it was a lot. I had a good sleep. Had a 10-hour sleep, I think.
And me. I think you need to be 18 listening to how to build a pension and where to find a good one, how to compound your money and grow it from being in a nappy, not 39. You know what I mean? When you think it's so annoying. Like, if I could, this is the only thing I would change about mine, because obviously myself, Jack, the way we came through is very long time ago, and these things just weren't accessible or even talked about. So, yeah, you wouldn't know what a financial advisor was when I was 18.
And
Ah,
I think we're really lucky because we actually are in a position that like we can, and like that's the same through kind of like I was like when I first got into like the England stuff, and it was like you guys worked and like did all the training. I was like, I was working part time at my dad's pub, going like I've got a brother, and I was like, Tom, can you cover me shift? Like
yeah,
it's
mate, I was happy to drop 2 of my 3 other jobs by like 2009, 10.
and like don't get me wrong, like I I worked as like a teaching assistant in the school at college, and then did the pub shift. So like even that's small like little thing, and I mean I had it cushy. Don't get me wrong, but like even
But
that
it
was
gives
like
you that gratefulness, doesn't it now?
yeah, it does. And I think even that like that little kind of snippet of me doing that was like that's got absolutely nothing on what these guys have done, and like it just blew my mind. So I think anything that people, and that's I've said it to anyone that's asked about the futures, is like, I don't see why you'd wait.
Yeah,
I
what have you got
think
to lose? Just go. What's the worst that could happen? You learn something you didn't know.
exactly, and like the worst thing is like you may go, I'm not quite sure, and like that's really okay because you're a little bit more informed about things than you were 2 days ago. But when you do decide that you kind of know maybe what direction you want to go in, you're actually not starting from scratch. So yeah, I really enjoyed it.
It is so important. And also, when you do finish, if you've got something sorted, even if you're right at the beginning of it, you're not faffing around and wasting time at the end of your career. You've actually got, and you can probably relax or enjoy at least the last season of your career if you've planned it well. You'd be surprised at how much it helps you when you do finish as well, because then you're ready to finish and you don't really miss it as well if you've timed it well.
And it
Is
stops you
there?
clinging on, doesn't it?
It does also stop you kicking the can and ruining your body and not really enjoying it, and feeling like you're then playing purely because you're scared to do something else or just for what money you're on, rather than just take the plunge or think, actually, I should have been a bit more proactive here. Is there any careers you think you'd like to go into after you finished being one of the best all-rounders in the country?
Yeah, I think I like the property side of stuff. Um, I'm sort of tapping away at that a little bit. Probably got two directions that I'm thinking I need to choose which one to go in. And then, I mean, I don't know if you've worked out, but I quite like cricket, a little bit of a badger. So I think I'll probably stay in cricket a little bit. I don't know if it'll be something I want to do for maybe 30 years post career, but I think
Coaching?
I think I've got a lot to give, and
I know this is rogue, but I think you'd be like Lydia Greenway, one of my best mates. She's a fielding coach, Mumbai Indians. She's brilliant. She's a brilliant fielder, was. And I see that for you. I know you don't want to be pigeonholed, and you can totally be a bowling coach, assistant coach, head coach, whatever you want. But it's such a field that's not really tapped into by women, and there's so much scope for it now. Like, just think of all the teams you could do doing that rather than the ones that are sought after, if you know what I mean. I
it's
think
funny you
you'd
should
be
say that,
exceptional at that.
because I've said before that, like, as a head coach or an assistant, you can't get that really like time on task, because you've got to look after 15 people, whatever it is, and do your admin and God knows what else you do. But like, as a bowling coach, fielding coach, batting coach, like, you can actually really get that sort of time and that one-on-one time, and try and actually make a real big difference and have some, because the worst thing I hate as a player is having one really good session with whoever it is and then not seeing them for 3 weeks or 1 month or 5 years. And I'm like, well, that was great, wasn't it? Like, it was one of my biggest, like, I hate it. So yeah, so I think having that one-on-one and making a real big change. And I think even at the Sparks, like fielding is, like, I really love fielding, and I've taken quite a bit of a lead in the Spark stuff, because we got put in like this massive dome, like inside football pitch, which was pretty cool. Got to play football as well, but meant we could do some real good fielding stuff as well.
Mate, I was bigging you up on the comms. I was saying, in the world, I'd put you in my top 5. Like, I know that sounds pretty rogue, and I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass, but if you just, people will think that's rogue, but they're welcome to prove me wrong. It's more like your athletic ability, your bravery, your willingness to go dive forward, which not many people can do, shockingly enough. How correctly you dive, like none of this football knee sliding, um, and then like yeah, just how much ground, like speed, agility, as well as your hands. Like it's not just about your hands, like anyway, and I think that's quite rare in the women's game, especially. So, yeah, there you go. There you're in the top 5. I said it on Sky TV.
High praise.
2025 is going to be a huge year, domestic women's cricket, because we've got a lot of stuff happening. A few changes. Obviously, the tiered system, regions swapping back to counties, which is fabulous. I can't wait for that. And from your perspective, player's perspective, how do you feel about it?
Oh, I think it's incredibly exciting as a player. I think the regional games, like, the growth has been so incredible these last 5 years. And then to put more investment into it and to become one team, I think has been the really big thing for me. You can talk, there's so many good reasons, but I think for me, sort of the investment and the one team thing is going to be the two really big things that just continue kicking on women's cricket in this country. Because I think, you said yourself earlier about you were wondering who was going to kind of shake you a little bit and replace you eventually. But like, now there's so much depth, whether that's as a batter, bowling, and if 5 people got injured in that England team, you'd probably feel pretty comfortable filling those 5 spots, which I think is a fantastic place to be. And it wouldn't have happened simply 4 years ago, would it? So I think that investment and having more professional cricketers having that time, because if you don't train, you're not going to get any better. If you don't play, you're not going to get any better. Like, that is the simple. And I think having that actual 15 pros is going to be, it's going to kick the game on. I think you can go as far as you want with it to how much that's going to change. And then I think when you feel like somewhere's home, you're going to feel a lot more comfortable. You're going to feel that you belong somewhere, because we want to win, but we want to win with people. We want to be able to celebrate other people's successes and enjoy being around others. And I think when you're kind of in an away dressing room at a ground get kicked out at the start of the season so that the real away teams can come in and use it. Like you're always kind of like jumping from one place to another, and then you struggle to get that kind of like that team bonding side of things and things like that. So
And when there's a couple more counties involved, you'll have that. There's be way more opportunity to open the batting even.
yeah, exactly. And I think it's really good that we're getting those extra teams in, but I think it's important that I mean this is way above my pay grade. Like if you think about like at the start of this and like the end of the before the regional stuff, if you got through the first 3 or 4 batters, like you knew it was game over. Do you know what I mean? Like it was game over, and you don't want to stretch the pool of players too thin that you kind of start going back to that stage because us as players, we want to be tested. We want to. The only way we're going to get tested is games, being really competitive, and I think we've seen that in the 100 in the regional game. Like the standard's been so good, and that's in those tough moments under pressure. Is when you learn who the people are that step forwards and the people that step back, but also the people that have the skills to succeed.
Yeah, well, that's the whole point of like it having a professional setup the last couple of years to then having a really successful 100 the last however many years, and that's meant to make everyone come out of the woodwork, and they'll come out of the woodwork more year on year. So hopefully that, as you say, spreading that talent thin, which I completely agree with, will bulk that somewhat. And
it means people don't have to drive 2.5 hours to have a team, which I think's because not everyone can do it. Like my parents have 2 kids to contend with, trying to go in different directions with sport, and I d how they do it is incredible. These parents,
well,
so
we've got that to find out. You'll be a
yeah,
parent one day.
not yet. I'm happy with the cats. Thank you.
So the PCA, right on the flip side of this, the PCA report that men's players concerns, they're playing too much cricket, and the World Cricket Association has launched into a review into how much is being played around the world, which is crazy. I actually just found out about that. I didn't know they were doing like a world review of it. Do you think does that creep into your mind about? Because obviously women's cricket's kicked off a bit. There's more tournaments creeping along. Like Lauren Winfield just played in the CPL, missed a Yorkshire game, and then came back. Sorry, Northern Diamonds for the one after. So she's like back to not being home for 2 months, and I mean that's personal choice too. But do you reckon there's any concerns about the women following that suit and potential stress fractures from that?
I mean, I think it is a concern. I think at the moment it's still at that exciting time that there is all these sort of franchises popping up, and yeah, I think you hope that we learn from the men's game because obviously they went through that journey however many years ago, and I'd hope that the people that make those decisions actually look at that and go, what's worked? Kind of, what would we try and do differently, maybe if we could? And it's actually, well, hang on a minute, we could actually do that. So I think hopefully that would be personally what I'd really hope for because I think if you can get as many high quality competitions being played and you can work out with the schedule that you can get sort of you don't want as an English player for the 100 to clash with something else. You don't want to not be able to.
But you want your best players playing in these and not resting because, like you're saying, that's gonna people come to watch the best in every one of them, not just play, rest, play, rest. So
But then I think it's how those franchises work because if people are going to probably have to start choosing which ones to miss, especially the better players, like you said. So you don't want your competition to kind of fall behind. So I think obviously there's the hundreds getting privatized, and you can. I think there's lots of pros and cons to that, but I think one of the good things is that hopefully it will keep the best players in England playing in England, which for us as players is the best thing possible. It's the best thing for the public coming to watch because they want to watch, the likes of that Sciver-Brunt, Heather Knight, the likes of Danny Gibson coming through. Like she's going to be a hell of a player. Like you want them playing in England. So
we don't want them resting. That's it. Well, that's it. That's the Island series, isn't it? But at least it brings opportunity. But I mean, had that been in England on Sky, BBC, you wouldn't want people not to be playing. So yeah, absolutely. Anyway, Jack, PCA MVP update. I think we've got.
I know. Just before we move on, I think Katie speaks so well about the game. By the way, you're going to be wasted if you leave cricket. Yeah. So in the men's game, we obviously all love the fun, frantic nature of white ball cricket, but Championship cricket has been up and running again. Been back into the red ball, a bit of Duke and a bit of Kookaburra. We've had some outstanding performances the last couple of weeks, none more so probably than 16-year-old Rahan Ahmed's younger brother, who played for Nottinghamshire against my lot, Surrey, at Trent Bridge last week. Took a tenfer, just a casual tenfer on his Notts debut, 10 in the match in a drawn game. Now, we mentioned Liam Dawson most weeks, and he was my favourite for the men's overall MVP. And in both the county championship and overall domestic men's standings, Liam is streets ahead. And he just got a casual 150 and 10 for in the match last week because he runs cricket. Serious player. Yeah, that's what Liam Dawson
Isn't
does.
that
He just
mad
goes right.
that he's not playing for England? MVP 2 years in a row, just got 150 and a tenfer.
It's remarkable that he hasn't played more, or I don't know. It seems like we got someone that good. It's just remarkable, isn't it? So yeah, he's bossing it. What's going on in the women's version of the MVP?
Well, just quickly, Katie. Actually, who do you think's in the top 3? The Rachel Hayhoe Flint.
Katherine Bryce.
Correct.
She's overall leader, isn't she?
She's overall leader.
She's been unbelievable this year. She's been the pain of Sparks' lives.
Former guest on here, by the way. All guests do really well off the back of this.
87 not out and 4 for 41.
I mean, Jonah's got to shut up. She's scored 150 runs 200 runs now in 3 games.
Yeah, that's 2. Well done. And then Rihanna McDonald-Gay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've not prepared you for this, so apologise. I actually can't believe I'm such a bad person. You might, unless you've listened to a podcast, that would be ideal. Each week with our guests, we have under the lid's big question, and it's basically if you could think of something about you that not many people know, maybe only Izzy, your mum and dad, and it can be anything. Hopefully not too boring. We've had a DJ in Ibiza. We've had Ducket with a tattoo on his ass. We've had
Brookie with his pig.
A musician. We've had Brookie with his pet pig. What have you got for us, Kate? Might not have anything. This is my fault.
No, that's okay. I mean, I don't think I've got anything exciting as a tattoo on my arse cheek, but
next week.
Yeah, next week, who knows? End of season, anything goes.
Because I know Izzy would have been a good one because she can do like the Rubik's Cube in about a minute, and she plays.
Honestly, she
guitar.
puts. Sometimes I think something's really cool, and then she goes, "I could do a Rubik's Cube in 20 seconds." My great nan was a spy, and I'm going boring.
There you go. You've revealed something for Izzy. That'll do. Her great aunt was a spy, and she can do the Rubik's Cube in 20 seconds. Fabulous.
Yeah, she'll be cross because I think there's a specific number, but she's got a lot cooler since meeting me. She doesn't do it as much.
Anyone wanting to know Izzy, it's Issy Wong. They might not know many Izzies in this world. Right, Jack, that leads us into the best part of the episode.
What, the last round? The NAF quiz?
Yes, darling.
Right, yes. Katie, there is a prize for being top of the leaderboard on this by the end of the series, by the way. There's only 4 more weeks to go after this. We've got a £500 voucher from Jay Lindenberg for their website, full range of men's and women's fashion, sport and golf, if you're into your golf. So basically, it's a quick fire quiz. We're going to put 60 seconds on the clock. It's quick fire, so if you don't know, literally just say, I don't know, and move on to the next one. And who we got at the top of the leaderboard? I'll just tell you the leaderboard quickly. Tammy Beaumont, top with 9. Bottom with 3, Ravi Bapara. So if you're in between that, you're fine.
You just got to be a badger.
Yeah, and if you don't know, literally just pass, and we've got quite a few questions. So some people just stall for too long. So you've got 60 seconds. Every time you get a question right, we'll add 1 run onto your board. I'm on the first question, so if we shove up the runs on the board, that'd be good. Right, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Which New Zealand batter was your first victim in international cricket?
Amy,
What were you?
before you broke up.
India A, your hat trick. What were your figures total?
4 for 13.
6.
Which fellow seam bowling all-rounder won the player of the match in the last T20 international game you played in?
Sciver-Brunt.
Oh, rude! It was me. Who has more Instagram followers, you or Trent Rockets?
Me.
Trent Rockets.
Trent Rockets. Issy and which other cricketer are MLB Europe ambassadors?
Harry Brook.
Yes. Who did you run out on your international debut?
Beth Mooney.
Yeah. How many games have you played in the 100 for the Trent Rockets?
Not for the Trent Rockets. Altogether.
Oh, not for the Trent. Oh,
Altogether.
15.
What is the name of the Central Sparks mascot?
I couldn't tell you. Pass.
Hubert.
Which TV personality and quiz legend also hails from Haywards Heath?
Dunno.
Richard Osman.
That's right.
Should we ask her one more because of the cutout and the Trent Rockets throw off?
Yeah, big time. Your one.
15 games. You've played 28, by the way.
I always do this. I don't count the ones that I don't do anything in. Like when I can bowl for 2 years, it doesn't really feel like I was participating.
Right, here you go. One more. England faced Bangladesh, Scotland, West Indies, and which other nation in the women's T20?
New Zealand.
South Africa. Damn. Oh, well.
How many did you get then? Because
I got the first correct.
Well, the people keeping score for us don't even know because they didn't hear the first two. It's gone superbly well. She got the first one right, the second one wrong because it's 4 for 6, not 4 for 13.
Yeah, happy days.
And also, it was me, not Nat. She can't be good at everything.
I
I
apologise.
feel like you got Harry Brook, Beth Mooney, and you got. You didn't get within close enough of that one. Did you get Amy Satterthwaite, your first one?
Yeah, she did. She got that one.
So she got at least 3 then.
Yeah, I reckon 4.
Let me add it up. Amy won. She can have half for Sciver-Brunt. 2 Harry Brook, so that's 2.5. 3 with Beth Movie, 3.5. You didn't know Hubert, did you? Or Richard Osman? Or South Africa?
Well, I thought because Central Sparks, Warwickshire, not yet.
We'll give you 3.5 so it keeps you off the bottom. We'll keep round you
appreciate
there.
it. My gal, thank you.
Katie, that's awesome. Thanks so much for sparing your time coming on, and it's been really insightful listening to you about everything cricket and in the real world. And I know you're going to be a success off field, but you've got a lot more on field success to come yet. So good luck for the rest of the summer. Hopefully we cross paths again soon. And yeah, good luck. Take care.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
What a beauty.
She's nice, isn't she?
She's like an info machine.
I reckon she'd be a really good coach or director of cricket or just someone involved in how the game's run when the game's done, because I think she'll get done as well.
She's not afraid. Like she said when she came in the team, when you asked her if she's scared of me. No, because she's just quietly very confident. And just like a certain way where like she could happily tell me let's say I wasn't getting low enough in a fielding position. I was, like she would just tell me. She'd just say, "You're just not getting low enough, Brunty." And but someone's been playing 15 years for England, and this freshie just turns up. Like most people would be like, but you soon got it. This is Katie George. This is how she is, and it was a great intro though. Great intro.
Be great if she gets back in the England team and makes a name for herself. But also, I think she could still be very useful on the franchise circuit.
Yeah, definitely. And that's where she can sort of promote herself, I guess.
100%. So before we finish, we have got one little bit of feedback from on YouTube actually from last week. Now that brief appearance by your wife and your dog Bonnie, Anna Perna Priya, has mentioned that on Nat's appearance with Bonnie. Exactly. This is the content for which people are here for. Thanks, NSB, for joining at the end. And to be fair, it probably is.
Well,
who doesn't want to see more of Bonnie?
Downstairs, I've actually got... Oh, that's the camera. I've actually got Nat, Amy and Austin cooking me dinner as we speak. I'm spying on them.
Oh, you're spying on them. Excellent.
There's... Where is she? She'll kill me. Amy Jones. And then Nat by the sink. Preparing my dinner as we speak.
Well, on that note, let's wrap up this week. To everyone that's listened, thanks for getting under the lid with us. Another fantastic episode. It's been fun as always. If you've enjoyed it, please hit subscribe, leave a review, tell your friends, your family. And remember, you can send in any feedback at hello@underthelid.co.uk or #underthelid. Now, I'll be seeing you. Thank you, Brunty. What an episode.
What a great episode. See you all next week.
Bye.
Ta-ra.